Just 4 months after the publication was the biggest royal event in a generation. The coronation of his father, King Charles III.
The coronation was a staggering spectacle.
We saw some really fundamental historic parts of the relationship between church and state in what is one of the oldest nations on earth. And these are things that have been happening for 1,000 years. These are the reason we have a monarchy. If you take that away, you don't have a monarchy anymore.
King Charles will be crowned at Westminster Abbey in a service laced with ancient legacy and studded with symbolism.
It was really such a moment that, for me as a historian, I think for so many watching, made you think of not just the Queen's coronation, but all those coronations going all the way back to William the Conqueror in 1066.
As the world watched the historic spectacle, tensions simmered in the background.
I think that the whole day was challenging for Harry. We know from his biographies there that he's always struggled with the idea of being the second string, and there was William very much front and centre, this key support role to the king, as was set out in the Constitution.
We did see Harry at the coronation, perhaps the most anticipated guest out of all of them. He sat in the royal family pews, but a bit away from the front, and of course the lip readers were all focused on him really closely. You'll be unsurprised to learn that he was moaning like a teenager that people weren't treating him very well. But other than that, there was no big dramatics. It was just a grumpy Harry turning up, showing his face, and skedaddling as quick as he could.
Charles was the oldest monarch ever to be crowned king. Camilla, beside him, took the title Queen Consort, in line with the wishes of the late Queen Elizabeth.
There are two types of queen in the British monarchy. There's the Queen Consort and there's the Queen Regnant. The Queen Consort is married to a king. The Queen Regnant is like Elizabeth II or Victoria. She is the ruler. For a long time, there was a lot of ambiguity and uncertainty about Camilla's title when Charles became king. The official line of the palace, until really very recently, was that Charles would be king and Camilla would be princess consort.
I think this was a sort of softener, a sweetener, if you like, to help us, the public, transition between the idea of Diana as eventually our queen to the idea of Camilla.
Charles has always wanted Camilla to be queen when he became king. He has always wanted her to be seen as equal to the other royal consorts. It was very important to him.
It got to the point where at the Platinum Jubilee, the Queen finally announced that she would expect and hoped that Camilla would be known as Queen Consort.
It's thought that this Christmas might be too soon for a thawing of relations for Harry and his family. But it is the public falling outs and reconciliations of the king and his brother that have been most publicly debated in 2023.
Andrew lives in the Royal Lodge. It's one of the peachy properties in Great Windsor Park. Absolutely enormous, like a giant wedding cake. And it's very hard to get Andrew out, as the new king has discovered.
When Prince Andrew had to pay out a massive multi-million-pound settlement to his accuser, he was asked to drop a few of his titles and jobs. He was disgraced Uncle Andy. It was widely reported that the king was trying to evict Andrew from Royal Lodge, and there was a lot of toing and froing with briefings from both sides about how Charles was very, very firm and was going to throw him out, and Andrew just refused.
But then, in August, an olive branch.
We know Andrew went up to Balmoral in the summer. Certainly, the guns have been laid down, for want of a better metaphor, and the king has said, all right, you can stay in your lodge, but you maintain it.
If you look at what's really happened, there appears to have been a very canny PR campaign here. Because of all the argy-bargy and reporting about Royal Lodge, it looks like he's tough on him, but actually, he's back in the family with open arms.
The guest list for this year's Christmas at Sandringham is still unknown. Will Andrew appear? Or will Prince Harry surprise us all and attend?
Prince Harry is coming to Sandringham for Christmas in the same way that I'm going to Sandringham for Christmas, which is that he's not.
Later, we delve deeper into this year's Sandringham invite list.
Camilla has always adored her grandchildren. She spent Christmas with her children and grandchildren throughout her life, and now that she's queen, she doesn't want that to change.
Learn how Sandringham is shaping up for the royal Christmas guests
Charles is doing a lot of work at Sandringham at the moment to make it far more livable and far more eco-friendly.
And how the most famous family in Britain's Christmas in some ways resembles ours.
After they've gorged on turkey and watched their very own king and grandfather on the widescreen, they put on their welly boots and they go for a Christmas stomp.